VGK banks 3 points in a couple of weekend games. If only they could win in overtime, where they fell to 1-5 with yesterday's loss in Minnesota. More ahead as we recap both weekend games next on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Welcome to the Locked On Golden Knights podcast, and we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, the number one sports podcast, it's the number one sports casting network on the planet. I'm a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant. Leave me alone, Golick. It's Monday. And also the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the host of the Hockey News Collectibles show, starring the one and only Chris Golick. Coming up ahead on today's show, a recap of both weekend games, and we'll also be talking about Carter Hart and Trevor Connelly making their debuts for the season here in Henderson. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com, and you could win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And don't forget that you can now catch us each and every day on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and that is Cox Cable Channel 77 or on YouTube TV each day at 1 o'clock. All right, we got through all that. Golick, it's a new day, it's a new week, and VGK fared very well in back-to-back games. The win in St. Louis, and I'm not sure if the Golden Knights played well or if St. Louis is El Stinko. They're just,
yes.
Let's say the Blues are hitting a bad note this season. And yesterday, VGK losing 3-2 to the Wild in Minnesota in a game that ended on the XL Energy power play for the Wild in overtime.
You have stock in XL or what?
No. I just wanted to be funny, sort of. So maybe the humor's here. I don't know. We're here at least. And the bazillion-dollar man, Kirill Kaprizov, he pots the game-winning goal. 9 seconds remaining. My theory in overtime. You want to hear this? So here's my theory. So I felt as though the Wild were starting to run that Harlem Globetrotter weave a lot because they wanted to get, here's my theory. They wanted to get into a shootout against an inexperienced goaltender. Like no matter what, they were going to win that game, either in overtime or they were going to do it if they got into the shootout. VGK, they didn't quite have an attacking offense themselves. They kept going back in that OT. But let's talk about the big play there. Okay, the penalty that was called. Shea Theodore called for hooking Matt Boldy. 29 seconds to go. And Bruce Cassidy's reaction, smiling and clapping because he was still ticked off that there was no penalty call. The same variety on that Mitch Marner breakaway, and perhaps should have been a call on Theodore the Trailer, who might have been slashed himself. So that's it. That's all I have for that one. But I felt as though Minnesota yesterday sort of toyed in the overtime period with VGK, just knowing the inexperienced Lindbom was in net, and sooner or later, eventually, they were going to beat him. They'd beat him in a shootout.
I don't know about that. I think Lindbom's done pretty well, and I would certainly have no problem pushing my chips into the middle if I got a bet on one of the two goalies to come out ahead. Right?
At least I have a theory. Today.
As far as the game goes, I mean, first of all, the weekend in general, the Golden Knights in the game against the Wild generated only 5 danger chances, but only allowed 4, so low event hockey. And then against the Blues, 13-8 in favor of the Golden Knights. So I talked about the process after the Islanders game. The process seemed to be working. Goaltending a little soft, but process in general seemed to be working. Now, back to the Wild game. Korczak, not a good game here. Korczak turns the puck over on the first Wild goal, and then the second Wild goal, he got just knocked down. He lost a board battle, and then obviously it's a tough goal for Lindbom to give up as well. So certainly a type of game that Korzak is going to go back if there's any film study, however that happens between now and whenever they get back on the ice. Korzak is not going to feel too good about this game. Winnable hockey game. Definitely a winnable hockey game. Lindbom, I thought in the first goal, again, you got the giveaway, but I thought he overcommitted a little bit.
Overcommitted.
So you're starting to see some of the rookie growing pains, which are expected. Lindbom's a good goalie. He's going to be a fine NHL goalie one day. His time is not yet, though.
What is the problem with VGK? 18 games played, 6 games are overtime losses. And one of the issues as you dissect this, though, too, the fact that the Golden Knights have to come back, they have eight third period tying goals, which is, I think, the leader in the NHL this season. And they have to rally back. Perhaps they're expending way too much energy, XL energy. Maybe perhaps they are expending too much energy, Chris, as they tie the game up finally, and then they use all that energy. They get into the extra period and they can't win games.
They're 1-5 as far as their overtime record or something like that. So
yeah, something like that. We said it at the top.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That there certainly can be an amount of energy being used to get back into the game at that point. But unfortunately, this is where you got to find a way. Mark Stone's going to get overtime minutes. William Karlsson's going to get overtime minutes. Having those two out there would help. Is that the reason they're losing? Is that the reason they're 1-5? No, is that worth maybe a game or two? I think so. And still comes down to execution. Overtime is weird. There's luck involved. There's like a question that I had in the overtime game against the Islanders. Howden starts that game on overtime, not Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel's on the bench. Brett Howden. I for some reason I thought they were going to have Brett Howden maybe take a face off, then get right out of there, but not the case. So you can maybe point to personnel discussions and choices that have been made on the bench by Cassidy. I don't know how much teams actually practice the overtime. I mean, there's only so much practice time to go around, and 3-on-3, that takes a ton of energy. Keep going back to XL energy here. That takes a ton of energy to work on reps and everything like that. So you bet there'll be some type of emphasis on this, because at the end of the day, when it comes, February, March, and April, we're talking about points and division races and home ice and all that stuff. You're going to point to these overtime losses.
Is there a beef brewing between Jack Eichel and the broadcast crew? I ask you this because I'm starting to feel this way. They're saying on TV that there was no way that you should lose a faceoff in that overtime period on the power play, down the man, of course, for VGK, because VGK never had an opportunity to touch the puck again. Well, first of all, that was Eichel. And they don't really razz players like this, on the TV broadcast. It was Eichel on the ice in most of the extra period. I think he was looking for a change, right? And then he loses the faceoff. Well, you're down a stinking man. A lot of times it's hard to win a faceoff because they have an extra guy coming over to pick up the puck. But why are they picking on Jack Eichel? I didn't understand that. I know he's gone 8 games. I think 8 games now without a goal. But why are they picking on him? I didn't get it.
Looks like Eichel and Howden started on the kill, so I guess that's my first question. You got a Sissons, you got a
I think they were stuck on the ice, weren't they?
Without a change. I don't know what happened before that, so I don't know if there was a shift situation or not. As far as in the face-off circle yesterday, Jack Eichel was 36%. That's
okay. Maybe enough. They could pick on him. Yeah, they could pick on him.
Sissons was 50%. Brett Howden 50%, and Tomas Hertl was 44%. So Minnesota did a good job in the face-off dot last night.
Yeah, Hertl had that run right in the face-off circle, but after that he lost the face-off to the Islanders on the shorthanded goal.
Yeah, so. Again, these are the little things, right? We're talking about a Korzak turnover behind the net. We're talking about a Korzak lost board battle. We're talking about a goalie overcommitting. And maybe, again, hockey's a game of mistakes. No one plays perfect hockey. I'm borrowing something from Coach Cassidy there. But this is where these mistakes all need to be limited, and attention to detail in the face-off dot and things like that. So positive side, like I said, you got 3 out of 4 points after a tough game against the Islanders on Thursday night. So things maybe are going the right direction for the Golden Knights.
Marcus Foligno, the big hit, wiping out Tomas Hurdle there in the game. Big hit, but Hurdle comes back and plays well. VGK
Foligno's also who took out Korzak on that goal too.
And VGK had 2 power play goals. That's encouraging. Dorofeyev and Riley Smith. His third goal, second in 3 games.
Third line's buzzing.
They're buzzing now. And Jeremy Lozon, your guy, was out on Sunday, injured in St. Louis game Saturday, but I felt as though they wanted him out anyway. And Ben Hutton
feels like a scratch, but I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like a scratch. Ben Hutton drew in. Coming up next, to look back at Saturday's win over the St. Louis Blues. More ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. The NBA is so back, and there's no better place to get into the action than at FanDuel. It is the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And even if you missed the start of the game, you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything as far as who's going to score next, to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every single game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. So you can use that across the application. Head on over to FanDuel.com today. Sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Thank you for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night, until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Big night tonight. We've got the Dallas Cowboys coming into town against the Raiders. Doesn't matter who wins. I mean, this is going to be one of the funner experiences at Allegiant Stadium.
I just need Williams to get about 16 fantasy points. Besides that, I don't care what happens.
Okay, I'll be rooting from the press box because that's what we do. We root from the press box. Mac Miller, best day ever. That's today, maybe. Hopefully. Could be a great day. Will be.
I asked Tony before the show started when I saw the hat. I'm like, who's Mac Miller?
So Mac Miller, American rapper, and he is a Pittsburgh guy. They did a bobblehead for him, even though he passed away a few years ago. A young guy. Saw him here at the at the Cosmopolitan circa 2014, and I was backstage, and he left an impression on me. He was a good dude and a good rapper. So
when Tony said he's backstage, he was sneaking in the back, and Mac Miller thought he was the help.
Duh. We get the first duh of the week. VGK, an easy win on Saturday. How easy was it? Well, even Gaulick's guy, Brandon Saad, scored a goal. Is that good? Is that good?
I thought so easy a caveman can do it was coming right there.
It was so rigged. It was such an easy
great goal. It was a great goal.
They didn't have a tribute video. They just put like a graphic up on the Jumbotron there. They didn't even do anything really for him. He got a little bravo. He did no tears. There were no tears, for crying out loud. So Saad scores his first goal of the season. Noah Hannafin with his first goal of the season. And Braden Bauman, Bo, sometimes Cassidy calls him Brandon. So now he's just Bo. He scores his first NHL goal. What was going on in that? It looked so easy. And the Bowman goal was set up so well. How about Eichel? Finds that seam. He gets it across the crease on the stick of Dorofeyev and then back over. Unbelievable. Just a little tip-in, a little tap, Bo said after the game. But VGK with an easy win, and they needed one. They needed the roadie.
So on that goal, the Bowman goal we're talking about here, yes, it was set up nicely by Jack. But what I like the most, I'm watching the visualizer. We can't show it because of ads and stuff. But watching the visualizer right now, you love the work that Bowman does throughout the entire process of the goal. He's in Mark Stone's spot below the goal line, just kind of waiting for an opportunity to, looking for the soft ice, almost hanging below the goal line right there. So you love the way that goal comes together. I love the Brandon Saad goal. Again, hard work pays off right here. Riley Smith creates a turnover behind the net, a little bit of chaos. Brett Howden gets the turnover at the blue line, touch pass, timing play. I mean, just the way all these goals came together was very, very nice. Hurdle with a breakaway goal. I mean, again, the Blues, they're having a lot of trouble right now, and the Golden Knights took care of business in that game. Also won the high danger chance situations of 13-8.
Let's talk, if we can, about goaltend. Oh, by the way, Mac Miller, 2 posthumous. He's got Grammy nominations this year too, and he's been gone for a minute. A young guy, died way before his time. Okay, goaltending this past weekend. Akira Schmid came back on Saturday after playing against the Isles on Thursday. I want to get your thoughts on that. But then Carl Lindbom on the Eriksson Ek goal was way out of position, pretty much gives up an empty net. And the Kaprizov goal, he was out of position again, and his legs were open. It's been a tough go for Lindbom. Some good saves, but he's nowhere near ready for this NHL level. And Akira is now 7-1-2, the most wins that he has in his career. I looked it up yesterday for a season is 2022-23, where he has 9 wins. So he's right there. But suddenly Akira Schmid has separated himself. We were really high on Lindbom, but he's making a lot of technical mistakes in net. And if that went into the shootout, Minnesota probably would have won as well.
I mean, listen, the goaltending is what it is. Schmid's up to a 900 save percentage, so probably very close to the league average, plus or minus. 250 goals against, so that tells me the defense in front of him is certainly stepping up a little bit. On the flip side, Lindbom, 318 goals against and 873. Aiden Hill in his 5 games, 273 and an 888 save percentage. So, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of separation with Schmid right now. Part of it's the defense in front of him, I think, just playing better when he's out there. Just kind of one of those weird things. We saw Logan and Aiden Hill go through this while back, where the defense just kind of seemed to play better in Aiden's world versus Logan. It's just part of the game, I guess, and really tough to explain. Do we feel really good about the goaltending situation right now? I don't. Do I feel better about Schmid present on November the 17th versus, let's say, October the 1st when the season was starting? Absolutely, I do. Schmid seems to have the composure, seems to be figuring things out on a faster pace than Lindbom. I think Lindbom still has the higher ceiling of the two, but Schmid obviously has been around the NHL for not significantly longer, but for about the last 3 to 4 seasons. So you would expect Schmid to have a little more, I guess, just his experience leads to his composure, where Lindbom is a little bit leaky in this sense. You see him rotating around a lot. And just one last note from the previous segment here. I was curious because Ben Hutton, got to draw into that game. And Ben Hutton was on the ice for all of 7 minutes and 50 seconds or something like that.
Rotation is really odd this year. It really is. The minutes distribution. If you have a chance, look up Kolasar too. But Schmid against the Islanders, you called him Schmid, but the MID were capitalized. I think that was me. I thought it was either you.
We definitely both hit him on the
mid.
He
is Schmid. And then against the Islanders, one of my friends pointed out, and he texted me after the game. He goes, the last 3 goals were all shots that beat Schmid on the blocker's side that were long shots. Think about that. So St. Louis had no idea how to scout this guy, obviously, nor could they probably get to the
St.
net.
Louis can't play hockey right now. Let's be a little bit clear about this.
But if you're going to shoot on Schmitty, you need to fire away long shots. The winning goal in the Islander game was at the top of the circle, for crying out loud, by Peugeot. And that's what you need to do. Blocker side, and shoot the long puck on net. We found a weakness there. Thanks.
You asked about minutes. Ben Hutton, 744. His line mate that game was not Korzak, who went up to the second unit back with Noah Hannafin. So you have who is his D pairing partner then? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, it's Korzak, who had a rough game. Korzak, 953. And then you asked about Kolasar, 1030 for Kolasar. So you're still not seeing much of a rotation right now for 4 lines. And that's my concern, because
that's concerning. They're not rolling 4 lines. Absolutely. I agree.
Now, as the season progresses, if they can increase the 4th line's minutes, okay, fine. You got a long season. Every day that goes by, the games get more condensed. So if it gets to 11 or 12 minutes by, mid-December, okay, 13, 14 by January, now we're talking about something. But again, probably we didn't spend enough time on this. Third line's buzzing right now. Third line is buzzing. That's a key to success going forward.
It is that time of year again, and the narrative, Chris, is the Golden Knights are missing so many players. Somebody starts talking about the list of all the injured, and they let it off with Jeremy Lauzon. Hey, look, we're missing on the air. We're missing Lauzon. What?
Addition by subtraction.
Are they really missing Lauzon? And by the way, folks, the Wild yesterday were missing the likes of Ryan Hartman after he gets knocked out of the game in the first period. Marco Rossi, Vladimir Tarasenko was even out. And you start the list for Minnesota with Tarasenko, for crying out loud. Coming up next, Carter Hart. It's Monday. I know I'm buzzing. Carter Hart gets his first start in the conditioning stint in AHL. Henderson, I should say. We'll talk about it more right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total nuisance. It could be a headache between waiting in queues, which is the absolute worst. Surprise fees, they have surprise fees, and the prices jump right before checkout. And it's easy to get frustrated and just kind of walk away and say, I don't need this. But that's where Gametime comes in because it's really good. The app is really solid. We're endorsing it here. And it gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack. And you can score amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I think they had $40 tickets for the last game on Gametime. And you can grab seats for the Vegas Golden Knights. And for real, it could not be any simpler. And you get great seats in just a matter of minutes. And so check it out. Their zone deals, they're a game changer. You pick the section, Gametime will pick your seats, and you save big. And so you should take the guesswork out of buying tickets for the NHL games for the Golden Knights and other teams around the league with Gametime. Download the Gametime app today, create an account, and use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. If it's a $40 ticket, you get $20 off if you're using it for the first time. That's the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. Go, swipe, tap, and get your ticket today. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, I totally screwed up the end of that, Golick. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. And I just went out of sequence, like misspelling Eagles.
You're out of stride like a horse in the seventh coming down the stretch at Balmoral.
I had a couple of doubles this weekend, so that was good. Not big, $40, $32 something, but okay. Got some pocket change, as they say in the game. Carter Hart. Let's go there. He had his first pro game since January of 2024, and last night for HSK, he saved 12 of 14 shots on net, an .847 save percentage. HSK defeats Calgary, the Wranglers, 5-2. Saturday was the first day, of course, that Carter Hart was eligible. There was like a swarm of folks that went there looking for him on Saturday to get some photos and some clout. Nice setup. Okay. And in any event, VGK and HSK, they hold him out another day. And they said that there were no difficult saves in the game last night. And he didn't have to face 5 or more shots on goal in any one period. I was probably more excited than anything, said Hart. I haven't played a game in a long time, so I just felt good to be back out there competing. Carter Hart.
Listen, congrats to Carter Hart. It's been a tough road, and good to see him in his progression and working through everything. And like a low event game, like I said, 14 shots faced, 12 saves, and
for real,
really didn't see a whole lot as far as
more rigged. The side goal in St. Louis or Carter Hart not facing very many shots.
I don't know. It's fine. I mean, I don't know what the if what the Flames are doing is any indicator, I don't think the Wranglers have a whole lot going for them either on this season. But I don't know offhand. But again, listen, he was able to get out there. He was able to get through the game. He was able to start to getting back to some of his routines and things like that. And he made the reference that's kind of like riding a bike. So get back out there and we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of people, especially after Thursday's game, calling for Carter Hart to be the savior of the net this season. So it's going to get a very interesting, let's say 40, 45, 50 days from today, as far as the shuffling in the crease with Aiden Hill, Carter Hart, and now Akira Schmid, who's 7-1-2.
Yeah, 7-1.
There you go. There's that's the one that's going to be on the outside looking in here. That's a little tough, jagged little pill to swallow.
It's going to accelerate Aiden Hill's recovery. I'll guarantee you that he'll be back.
Or is that why they signed him right away after he got hurt?
He'll be back by American Christmas for sure. Aiden Hill. I thought Carter played a good game, said Ryan Craig. The team in front of him played good. That was just important for our overall team. That's how we want to build our game here, no matter who is in net. I think, 3 defensemen, I think, scored in the game for bring up all the defensemen from Henderson, for crying out loud. They'll do a good job. But again, a lot of cloud chasers in that arena on Sunday night to take some photos of Carter Hart. And every time there's a post about Hart, man, the fans just go bananas. And this is something that, from a PR standpoint, the Golden Knights are going to have to face eventually. You can hide him. You can mask him. Okay, he's not going to play Saturday covertly. Let's just slide him in there on Sunday when there's 22 people at the game, for crying out loud.
23,
and then
23.
Okay. Oh, you did a head count.
There was 26 on Saturday's game, Tony. Relax.
Wow. And even giving away the farm there at the barn. Give away the farm at the barn. They're still struggling there at the gate. We don't have much time, but I wanted to also talk, Chris, and get your opinion about Trevor Connelly just returning this 2 for the price of 1. 2 controversial figures for the price of 1. So, of course, Connelly comes back injured Saturday, injured back in July, comes back on Saturday night, either the leg or the knee that he sustained in the World Junior Summer Showcase. He had an assist in his first start Saturday, and he scored a goal and an assist on Sunday night to back up his good friend, now his buddy.
All right, so real fast, we're up against it here. So,
Carter Hart.
Connelly looked good in his game. That's about all we got time for. But back to Carter Hart. How much of the people that are chirping on social media is one person with 20 burners who's never been to Vegas for a hockey game versus people who are actually making a decision to avoid the team? That's kind of what I'm starting to lean towards right now. But good to see Hart out there. Good to see Connelly out there. There we go.
Golick tomorrow will be sporting his I Miss Carter Hart hat. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Tomorrow we'll be back with the preview of the Rangers game. From my man Chris Golick, Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. See you tomorrow right here on Lockdown Golden Knights.